You know, I truly understand that I'm a very blessed person. I have this amazing grow room here, and I have already started some stuff for my spring garden. And I have 3 trays of sugar snap peas, and I've started some more little pots here. Those will have to be divided. And these, goodness gracious, I planted these to separate and repot later. I have some friends that have mentioned that they'd like to have some plants this spring, so that's going to help me there. And I have got to bring out a bowl and pick all of these little cherry tomatoes. You might think, cherry tomatoes? We're still in the early part of March. Well, when you're blessed and have a grow room, you plant your tomatoes in 5-gallon buckets and tie them up to a cattle panel suspended from the roof. And you just put some little grow lights on it. And that's all that I'm using is some grow lights. This is some radicchio. Let me get that label. Let me get the label here and show you what it is. Racayo or Racayo onion, Chinese wild onion they call it. It actually makes a very mild head and spreads vigorously. It's a perennial onion. It really is not supposed to grow in my zone. It's too cold here. I'm in a 6B. But I figure I can grow it in pots and bring it inside and still have a harvest. And I finally gave up on that lettuce and just let it die. I had all of the lettuce I wanted this winter and arugula. But if you look over here, you're going to see my little Martha tent is absolutely going wild. Those bigger ones I'm going to have to harvest this evening. I've got another white oyster mushroom block that I made there that's just starting to show some signs of some pins. And that one didn't give me a second flush, nor did that one. And yes, that's the bag that's holding the morels. That's the experiment. I could only cross my fingers and hope that I learn how to grow morels. All I'm doing there is just trying a different growing medium. Once these, and these are the magnolia sugar peas in this tray. They're a purple potted sweet pea. They are a sugar snap pea. When they get a little taller, I'll be pinching the tops off. I'm hoping to have these ready to go in the ground by the end of March, 1st of April. Now these, there was no brand. I just picked up a pack of seeds at Rural King. Oh, these seeds are 2 years old, I guess. This will be the 2nd year. They've got a wonderful flavor. Same thing here. The little tops are coming up. Once they get a little bit taller, I'll just pinch the tops off of those. It actually makes them spread out a little bit more. And here you can see that I have quite a bit of Swiss chard coming up. And I love the curly leaved kale. So that's the Vates Scott blue curled kale. I'm looking forward to that. And I have way too many in each pot. I'll just, once they get a little taller, decide which one's the strongest, and I'll clip the others right at the base. And as I said, these I won't. I'll actually go ahead and let them get their true second leaves on them, and then I'll pot them into individual trays. Now back here I've got, and I put that on there. Oh, I see little bitty guajillo peppers breaking through. Now, I don't see any of the poblano's coming up yet or any of the red marconi, but they should. I'm just really surprised to see the guajillo peppers, my chili peppers, coming through this early. And normally I put a piece of saran wrap over my pots to hold in the moisture, but I figured this little piece of This little piece right here is just some plexiglass that's broken. It should cover it. And that's a bunch of flowers, seeds. And it said it could take them 20 days or better to germinate. We'll see. They are, of course, on a heat mat here, so they're getting plenty of warmth and plenty of light. I figured the best way to truly show you guys just how large these mushrooms are here was to take them out and set the fruiting block out here next to these little tomatoes. Now, I can't hold this camera because I didn't bring the tripod, but I'm gonna turn this camera off and cut these because I'm definitely cooking them for my supper tonight. Okay, that's gonna be way more. That's Granny's old big yellow bowl. That's gonna be way more than I needed just for myself, but I believe I can do it justice. And of course, I just cut the big ones off. These are not mature. And it looks like I've got a few more on that flush there to get larger. That one's just getting started, so is this one. That one only had 2 on it. It was just a little sprig that came up from the side of the plastic. But let's put these in here, and tomorrow I'll need to pick the others. So let's go ahead and put these back in the humidity in the Martha tent, the high humidity, and these will be tomorrow probably as big as these. There is my Martha tent, and that's here in my grow room. And yes, you see that I do have mushrooms growing in there. Now, for some reason, my recording on March 5th didn't work, so I'm back out here following up. And there is the mushrooms that I cut out. There's another block, and that is the second one that was sitting on the bottom. And I have the one that did not produce a second flush, nor did this one. And it's a few more days before I open this experimental bag of growing medium for the morels. But I find that having a Martha tent is a great way to raise a little bit of produce. And yes, it's sort of expensive setting it up, but once you get it set up, it's not difficult to grow, and I should be able to use this Martha tent for several years to come.